crazy about this. I'm super, super driven. I know everybody can be amazing and successful, and they just want to pay their bills. So I'm dealing with apathy.
Your employees.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple things. This is really funny because this is probably the first thing I ever started really talking to my dad about as a kid, as somebody who had like gifted wisdom, as like, you know, like what keeps me super like mellow is like my thought process and like the things that I do well are gifted DNA and circumstances. So I never get high on my own supply because like it's just so weird that this was probably the first thing I started talking to my dad about when I was 15 years old. I looked at my dad one time when we were driving and I said, Dad, if they were you, they wouldn't work for you. This is something we talk about 28 years later. My dad brings up that statement because he's like, you were a kid. Like your ideology for what everybody should be doing is the quickest way for you to struggle. There's a very big difference, like I have enormous, energy on like impacting people in a good way, whether it's directly attributed to the people that work with me or the masses, whether that's through heart or hustle or whatever it may be. But you have to become deeply aware that there's only so many things you can handle. The other thing that it really leads to is it leads into you trying to control something you can't, which then this compounds and takes over.
10 years.
It's a losing proposition. First of all, there's a lot of bad in it. There's a lot of ego and a lot of your own shit that you need to really understand that truth. Like, it's the same bad that I have. I create entitlement because I try to take on too much on myself, and so you gotta be careful with this one. Here's what I would say. Your job as somebody that sits at the top of something is to put players in the best position to succeed. Once you've done that, you've got to allow them to do their thing. You're a capitalist trying to deploy almost socialist, communist ideology. You can't control everything. There's nothing wrong with paying what's wrong with paying your bills?
They're capable of so much more.
Says who? You don't know them. You don't know them. I know Caleb solidly. I know Nick solid. You don't know. Your fucking spouse and parents don't know you. Right?
Yeah.
Let's get to real talk. There's not a single person on earth that actually knows you. Every single person has certain little subtle things that they still have not articulated to the world. To not one person. You're being ideological. To scratch your own itch. You have to understand that. I think a bigger thing is, where are you going with that, right? I think if you're going into a place of they could be so much more and we can win together, which would make sense to me, right? Let me help you be a better employee, you'll do better, we'll do better, right? You're better off firing them.
I knew you were gonna say that. I hate firing people.
Me too. Me too, but me hating firing people creates, what I do with it is I create entitlement and protect people at my cost, which makes them think they're better than they are. You're not firing people, is you're imposing an ideology on them. You're making it about, you could be so much, you're putting it on them instead of yourself. You don't want to fire them because they're not capable of over-delivering or delivering on the standard of what you need for your business. And so the way you're deploying that resentment is deploying them to feel bad that they're not achieving their capability, predicated on something that you need them to do in the context of your four walls.
So I just need to get the right people in there.
I'm at my best when I fire fast, when I know it's wrong.
Yeah.
And I do that rarely, because I don't like it. But I've gotten better at it. But you shouldn't create, you're putting, resentment comes out in very different ways. When I'm resenting something, I'm razzing people. I'll make jokes. That's my way of getting it out. You're not doing any favors looking somebody dead in the eye and say you could be so much more. It's doing nobody a favor. It's not doing you a favor, it's not doing them a favor. What you need to be thinking about is, first and foremost, the number one thing you need to be thinking about is the 3 managers or the 1 regional manager The people that are actually responsible in the trenches, that's who needs to be 100. You fix that, you fix everything. Don't focus on the sink, focus on the well. Everything I'm worried about in the 1,000 employees here is predicated on my 11 direct reports that run those departments.
Okay.
Got it?
Focus on the managers.
The managers.
Right.
If the 3 managers are perfect, then you'll be set.
They're not.
No shit. I know. That's how it works. That's how businesses work. You've only got 2 variables that you're talking about. This is why it's easy for me to understand. I know they're not right. And then underneath that, the employees you have, either they're underperforming because the manager blows and you know it, or they've just been around for a while and you have actual human emotion to them. And those are both valid. But the quickest thing that will make you so much happier is to make sure the 3 managers are phenomenal.
Yeah.
You have 3, I would assume, per
Yeah.
location?
They basically deal with all the happy stuff, and if anything goes wrong, I'm the one that has to come in to deal with that.
You've created that, just like I created here.
Yeah.
You need to uncreate that. And what is fine at a smaller business level, and it's why it worked for me at Wine Library, is when it's smaller, there's a level of fine, but if you have ambition and for it to grow, you need to, you need to get the value out of the way you're compensating. You're better off compensating more and letting people do the defense and the shit as well.
Okay. Got it.
Got it?